Welcome to the Retro Craptacular podcast, where each month we are continuing our search for the best, worst movies on the planet Earth. I am one of your hosts, Aaron, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt.
Hello.
Hello. So, this month, we watched the newest movie that we've watched so far on the podcast.
Yeah, it's post turn of the millennium.
It's true, man. 21st century movies right here. We watched from the distant year of 2004, Alien vs. Predator.
7 days ago, one of my satellites over Antarctica discovered a pyramid.
Where exactly on the ice is this?
It's not on the ice. It's 2,000 feet under it. Let's make history.
Oh my God.
Whoever built this pyramid believed in ritual sacrifice.
Did you hear that?
What was that thing?
What's going on?
Let's go!
What did you say this room was called?
Sacrificial chamber.
We did this in anticipation, of course, of the new Alien movie, Alien Covenant, coming out at the end of the month. Or
No, it's
not quite at the end of the month.
about halfway through.
About halfway through. A little more than halfway through. Yeah, this, I remember going to see this movie in the theater. I made my dad take me when I was, I think, 12 or 13. 12, I think. I love this movie so much.
Oh, yeah?
So much. I'm not gonna bury the lead. I know we do the scores and everything at the end. I freaking love this movie. It's so good. Although rewatching it, maybe I don't love it as much as I thought I did.
Not holding up?
No, well, I don't want to say that it doesn't. It's not terrible.
Okay.
I'm going to say that. And there are some parts of it that I really, really like. But let's jump right into the fantastic movie of Alien vs. Predator. You had seen this one, correct?
I had seen it, I think, just once, maybe twice, but had been a very long time. I remember just bits and pieces.
Right. I've probably seen this movie. Oh, geez, I don't know. I watched it all the time. Once it came out on DVD, I bought it and I watched it constantly, like all through like middle school and high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Having an Alien versus Predator sleepover party.
We did have Alien vs. Predator, like all night marathons where we watched all the Alien movies, and then another one where we did like all the Predator movies and some of the Alien movies. I mean, there was only 2 Predator movies at the time, but we watched them both. And we watched this movie, and it's a real basic concept, obviously.
Yeah.
But it delivers everything that you want it to, which is aliens versus predators.
Yeah, if you were expecting anything else going into this movie, A, why, and B, don't.
And like, I don't want to, because I hate when people like defend shitty movies by being like, well, what did you expect? It's called Transformers. It's just, I saw a bunch of giant robots punching each other and a lot of things blew up. And that's all I wanted out of it. And I really hate that defense because I'm like, no, movies should be more than that. Like, it shouldn't, you know, that shouldn't be the only factor in whether or not a movie's good. But for whatever reason, with this movie, I don't care.
Well, I mean, it does have a plot, right?
It does.
A plot that carries us to the moment that all of the aliens fighting predators stuff goes down, and at which point the plot doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, so it has a plot that gets you there. tries its best to make you like at least some of the characters.
Yeah,
you know,
to care a little bit when they all inevitably.
a little bit. The Scottish
yeah.
guy, from Train Spotting.
Yeah, Miller, I think was his character name.
Yeah. I think his name is Ewan Bremner. I just looked him up because I couldn't remember what he was in, but he was the guy that shits the bed in Train Spotting. He, they talks about like having kids or whatever, and
He's got 2 boys. He said
it's one of those like easy screenwriting tropes for like, how do you make this character, or how do you make the audience care about, when bad things happen to this character? It's like, well, give him kids.
Yeah.
So you kind of care about him, and then like you sort of learn some things about Lex, the main girl that takes them out on the expedition.
Yeah, we get the most backstory about her, and she's kind of established as our main character.
You get the most backstory, and yet, for whatever reason, I care the least about her.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, not the least, but like...
Did you care most about the Scottish guy?
Most about the Scottish guy.
Same.
I liked the Italian archaeologist guy.
The one who wears a bottle cap around his neck.
The bottle cap around his neck. That's a great bit. Because, like, they make him seem like he's, like, not a very good archaeologist, the way they set it up at the beginning. Like, he's on a dig, looking for, like, some ancient temple, and he, like, reaches into this thing and pulls out an old Pepsi cap.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I guess we're nowhere near whatever it is we were trying to find. And then they're talking about, like, running out of money, and then Mr. Whalen's assistant guy shows up and is like, well, I think I can help you with that. But then when they get to the pyramid, he's the guy that knows everything.
He's the one who's right all the time.
He's right about everything all the time. He can translate the ancient text that no one's ever read perfectly. But speaking of pyramid, let's set the stage.
Yeah, let's do the quick plot recap. So, Mr. Wayland of Wayland Corp or whatever, rich white man.
Yeah.
Has a big company. He recruits a bunch of peeps from around the world who are like, experts in their field.
Yeah.
Got like that archaeologist dude. Got the main girl who's like a mountaineer.
She's an environmental technician and guide.
Yeah, a lot of experience with ice. Going across ice and climbing ice.
Climbed a lot of mountains and ice faces. In fact, we are introduced to her climbing up a frozen waterfall on a mountain.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Like a giant vertical glacier, basically.
And then she answers the phone.
And then, she's got a little like Bluetooth thing. She picks up the phone while she's climbing up a mountain. Apparently has great cell reception up there. Because the dude that she's talking to is standing on top of the mountain that she's climbing up, and he has cell reception.
Yeah, it was funny how, calls her up and like, Mr. Wayland would like to meet you tomorrow. And she's like, well, that's going to be a problem, And then
she's going to take me a week to get back to the world. And then the dude hangs up the phone right as she gets to the top, and he's like, well, Mr. Wayland doesn't have a week. And it's like, he's there with a helicopter. But the most bullshit part about that is, like, my Wi-Fi cuts in and out, like, in my basement. Like, my router's upstairs. I can't hardly get signal sometimes in my basement. How the fuck are they having a phone conversation?
It's a valid question.
I felt a little... I can buy aliens and predators fighting each other in an ancient pyramid underneath the ice of Antarctica, but, like, there's no fucking way you're talking on a phone...
The line has been drawn.
On top of a mountain in Nepal. Just because, like, I know how hard it is sometimes to get some damn cell reception in, like, a major metropolitan area.
Yeah. Well, what really struck me about that scene is I don't know how hard it is to climb a damn frozen waterfall. How does she feel when she gets to the top and there's just some jackass who's been talking to her on the phone, waiting for her, who flew up there?
Also, did he, like, purposely, like, fly from the other side of the mountain?
Yeah, just
so that she wouldn't see, and then land, and he's like, oh, this is going to be so funny. I got to time this perfectly. Like, she's, like, peeking over the edge. And like, oh, yeah, there she is. All right. Yeah, now's a good time to call. And then, like, calls her up, and then, yeah, it's way too set up.
Yeah, I feel like I would be angry about it.
But again, not important
Nope, not important.
because we got to get to.
So,
Well, the movie opens with like a satellite that looks a lot like the Alien Queen in shadow. Like the little satellite dish has like the perfect little cutout of Alien Queen, and it picks up a heat bloom
in Antarctica.
in Antarctica, and they discover that it's a pyramid.
Yeah,
And
so Mr. Whalen has called all of these professional peeps and hired this entire drilling team to like tell them and show them the satellite footage that they have of this underground. It's 2,000 feet below the ice in Antarctica. This pyramid.
yeah, and it has features of Aztec, Egyptian,
And Mayan.
Mayan was the other one. Pyramids. It has features of all three, and so Italian archaeologist man who's
We'll call him Pepsi.
We'll call him Pepsi. Pepsi decides that
It's like the name of a little dumb dog. Or
I know,
something.
right? Pepsi.
Yeah.
He's like, this could be like the first civilization ever. Because it does have features of all three, so maybe these
they
people
all started.
spread out.
Because it's presumed that once upon a time Antarctica was land and not all ice.
Yeah. So, Charles Bishop Wayland, played by Lance Henriksen, who, as you may remember, was the Bishop android in Aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I've seen him before. Yeah.
So they decided that they were going to put Lance Henriksen in this movie, and the way they were going to justify it would be that he was the head of the Wayland Corporation, so that when the Wayland-Yutani Corporation in the future in Alien, they, for whatever reason, build an android, they call it Bishop, and it looks just like the guy that started the company. And the way they justified it in the behind-the-scenes thing, I believe, was it's like if in 200 years Apple decides to build a robot version of Steve Jobs. But not have it... just have it look like Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Like, we're building the first Android, and we'll just have it look like Steve Jobs.
Still weird.
Still weird.
But that much later, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, 200 years later, it's not like his great-grandson's going to be like, well, I'm slightly offended by... whatever.
I'm just surprised they put that much thought into it. Good for them.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of interesting like backstory stuff that they go into in this, actually. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's stick with the basic plot.
Yeah, so basic plot, get all this team together. They get in a little rowboat, go out to Antarctica. I'm just kidding. It's a huge ship.
It's a giant ship.
Meanwhile, though, we get a shot of the Predators in space.
Oh, yeah.
Who also see the heat signature. I was a little unclear as to whether or not they activated the heat signature or they just also noticed it.
They either activated it or they had it marked on their calendar, like pyramids waking up at this time. We're going to go there and do the hunt. Because it happens every 100 years, right?
Right, yeah.
It was kind of, and actually, we watched the theatrical version. There is an unrated version that has like a prologue that takes place in 1904.
Oh, when the last time it happened. And
it's like just a quick shot of like, it's like a minute of like a whaler being chased by an alien, I believe, and then a predator shows up and kills both of them.
Of course.
Or maybe... Yeah, I don't know. It's in the unrated version. The unrated version is entirely a waste of time. There's barely any more gore or action. It's about 8 minutes total, and the most noticeable thing is that pyramid, or that the prologue thing up above the pyramid, the whaling station. And when... spoilers for everything, always. That's our policy. I feel like I should work that into the opening spiel, but...
well.
Spoilers for everything, always. on this
That's our new
show.
motto.
If you haven't seen the show, if you haven't seen whatever we're talking about, we're gonna spoil it at any given second. But when Wayland dies, there's like a shot of his dead face, and in the unrated version, they just added like a CG blood trickle that's like super red.
Oh yeah.
That's about it. But so, anyways, they show up at the whaling station.
No, but sorry, the ship. They notice it. The aliens notice it, and they shoot this.
Oh
beam.
yeah.
They shoot this beam down to Earth, which instantly I'm thinking, oh, now we're gonna get a shot of Earth of them noticing this giant green beam that came from space.
Nope, they're just standing there looking at the northern lights, going like, "Wow,
Oh, northern lights, protons and stuff.
I guess they'd be the southern aurora borealis." It's because it's in Antarctica. It can't be the northern lights.
Oh yeah, whoops.
Whatever. Northern lights are happening down south for whatever reason. And they don't notice the giant blue laser. I was wondering if this was the movie that started the whole blue laser phenomenon. Because I don't know if you're aware, but like every movie ever now has a giant blue laser that shoots into the sky or down from the sky, but mostly up into the sky.
I thought it was green. Am I forgetting?
What?
Was it blue?
For sure it was blue.
Oh. Anyways,
Anyways,
no.
the trope is the blue laser thing.
When I think of blue laser, I think of Cheat Commandos.
Cheat Commandos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time.
As soon as I said blue laser, I thought of Cheat Commandos.
Blue laser.
So I was wondering if this was the movie that like was the precursor to all the movies that shoot blue lasers into the sky.
I wonder.
Big blue beams. Maybe not. But when they show up at the whaling station, they're getting ready to drill. And then the drillers are all like, duh, there's a hole here already. And it goes all the way to the pyramid. But no one could drill it in 24 hours. Nobody, the technology doesn't exist. No one could do it. And they're like, well, better get down that hole.
Yeah, and the fact that part of a building is missing where the hole starts doesn't seem to bother anyone.
Drilled at a perfect 30-degree angle, the building directly behind the hole, there's a perfect like semicircle cut out of the roof, perfectly in line with the hole that they just discovered, that was just dug less than 24 hours before.
Yeah, I feel like if I saw that, one of my first thoughts would be, oh, a giant laser beam came from the sky.
No, but that'd be ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just about as ridiculous as discovering a pyramid under Antarctica.
Again, the plot is inconsequential.
Where the heat signature of the pyramid perfectly outlines every single wall.
Yeah. On
every single level, perfectly in red.
Yeah, which again they don't question. I think later it's like the entire pyramid is powered, and that's how they know where all the walls are because they all have power.
I guess.
But
well, I mean, there's kind of like a throwaway line where he's like, one of my satellites discovered a heat bloom, and it turns out to be this pyramid. The red lines indicate solid walls, and then just like moves past it.
Oh yeah.
So either like they roughly mapped it out themselves, but no, because the opening scene that's a direct ripoff of the opening scene of Independence Day.
Oh yeah.
Or just like a bunch of people hanging out at a random satellite signal receiving station discovers something on a blinky screen. They like zoom in and there's like a perfect outline of the pyramid already there. So
the heat signature is the outline of the pyramid.
Yeah, I guess you have to do it for the movie, but so anyways, they go down and go into the pyramid, start looking around. But before that, I want to talk about the bullshit excuse that they used to get guns into the movie, which is there's no reason. Except one girl gives one line
about condoms,
relating guns to condoms. She's like loading a gun, and Lex is like, I've never seen a gun save anyone's life on the ice in, over 7 seasons of working out on the ice. And the girl's like, well, I don't plan to use it. I'm like, well, then why are you bringing it? It's like, same principle as a condom. I'd rather have one and not need it than need it and not have one. And then she's kind of like, that's funny. All right.
Have a little chuckle like, well, then that makes sense.
Nice. Clever wordplay excuses everything. But then, so she has a gun. But then also, there's like the drilling team. Like, after everyone goes down, the drilling team stays up top because they're like, well, we don't need to even be here anymore because there's already a hole. We didn't have to do anything.
But then they all have...
And there's like a snowstorm going on, and this one dude's just wandering around with a gun out.
Like assault rifle or something?
Yeah, with the green laser sight on it. They all have green laser sights.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, just like screaming like for his buddy, like, hey, is that you out there? And he's got an assault rifle out, and then he gets killed by one of the predators. And they all get killed by the predators.
Naturally.
But they all have guns, and it's like, why do they have guns? Like, were they, like, in case someone else showed up and tried to claim the pyramid, they were going to shoot them?
I have no idea.
That's the only legitimate reason I can think why they would be like, we should maybe bring some guns.
Because it's not in case aliens show up.
No. I mean, they have guns so that they can fight the aliens, but also, like, they barely use the guns. So there's no... Like, it's not like the guns are ever really put to any use. Except once or twice, they're used to shoot a face hugger that's about to jump onto a guy.
But it was inconsequential because the room is full of them.
It was full of them. And, like, one guy hits a predator and deactivates his cloaking
mode.
His cloaking shield.
Yeah.
But then when the pyramid starts to change, when they find the predator's guns in like a sarcophagus kind of thing, and they take them, and then once they take them, it like activates the pyramid so that it changes every 10 minutes.
And then Waylon's right-hand man,
yeah,
and the other dude who've been carrying suitcases,
yeah, like briefcases, just pull machine guns out. Like, the handles of the briefcases are the handles of machine guns.
Yeah.
Why?
No idea. That did not make any sense. All of a sudden they just have guns and they're ready for action because...
Yeah. And they all have action man names. Like, his name is Stamper, I believe. There's another guy named Stone. He's the first one to die.
Oh, yeah.
He gets hung by the cloaked predator noose, which is pretty awesome.
Always fall for the cloaked predator noose.
Classic. Rookie mistake, really. I guess it's just like, well, you got to put guns in it because it's an action movie, so they should just have guns.
I guess.
Like, maybe I'm trying too hard to justify why they have machine guns, but it's one of those things that's always bothered me about the movie. It's like, why would they bring machine guns? Like a pistol, maybe I can justify a pistol.
Like the condom girl.
Like, maybe you might need to shoot
rabid
a penguin. Yeah, like I was gonna say like polar bears, but there's not even polar bears in Antarctica, so like there's no reason for them to have these guns. But then they just have machine guns. Like, unless they were like, if someone else comes to try to like claim the pyramid, we're gonna fucking shoot them. Like that's all I can think. But then why the drilling team had machine guns too, I don't know. The other guy's name was Verheiden. I wrote that down because I was like, where have I heard that name before? It turns out he's named after Mark Verheiden, who's a comic book writer. He wrote a bunch of the Aliens comics in the 80s and 90s.
Oh.
And some Predator comics, and I think he may have been involved in like the first Alien versus Predator comic series.
Oh, okay.
Which is where
just a little nod.
Yeah, I think so, because that's kind of where the whole Alien versus Predator idea came from, was comic books. It was Fox kind of realized they had both these properties, and well, actually, originally do we want to get into this? Let's just get into it now. We're
Go
going
ahead.
off topic. Originally,
That's basically the whole plot anyway.
that's basically the plot. From then on, shit happens, people die, aliens fight predators. It's on. Originally in Predator 2, the end of Predator 2, Danny Glover goes into the Predator spaceship and he goes into like a trophy room and you can see the alien skull on the wall in the Predator spaceship.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
The end of Predator 2. That was kind of like a little like wink and a nod kind of like inside joke sort of thing that the art department did on Predator 2 because they're like, oh, well, they're both owned by Fox, so like, why don't we just put the alien head in there? That'd be fun. And then I guess someone at Dark Horse saw that and was like, hey, can we do an Alien versus Predator comic? Because we own the rights to do the comics for both of them. Why don't we do that? And Fox was like, sure. And that's kind of where that originated from. And then it was a video game for a while. It was like a really popular video game in the 90s.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember playing a demo of that game.
Yeah, you could play like one level as each, and it was always the worst being the aliens. I don't know why.
They were really hard to control.
Yeah, because
You would just move if you were too close to the wall. All of a sudden, you'd be on the wall because they could climb around like that.
Yeah, you could like go 360, like on the walls, on the roof.
But then if you were the Predator, you just cloak and like camp somewhere.
Yeah,
And then, oh, there it is. Arm cannon.
yeah. There was a decent one that came out a couple years ago. I want to say like 2010, maybe. For it's like Xbox 360, PS3 kind of thing. It was a decent AVP game.
Huh.
The alien was definitely easier to control. The other thing was like the alien was way too fast.
Oh, yeah.
You would like go like really, really fast, and all of a sudden you're on the wall, and then all of a sudden you're upside down, and then you gotta like
And by
try
that
and,
time, you've turned around, but some
yeah, and you gotta like try and like you're upside down, then you gotta try and like kill someone below you, so you like jump down. You can't really tell if you've killed them or not because it's like always first person. I think it would be easier if it was third person for the aliens. But,
Definitely.
yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, yeah, they named a guy after Mark Verheiden. He wrote the comics.
Oh, cool.
Um,
It was a
yeah.
fun little tangent.
It was a fun little tangent.
I enjoyed it.
The other weird thing about this movie, I don't know if you found this weird, but it's set in modern day.
Yeah, it's set in
It's set in
2004 when it came
2004.
out.
So it's a sequel to the Predator movies, but it's a prequel to the Alien movies. And so it doesn't quite, because like in Alien, you kind of get the idea that like they're discovering this life form for the first time, even though there is a whole, I mean, there is the subplot about how like Ash is tasked with retrieving the life form. So you kind of get the idea that the company was aware of the alien's existence beforehand and like kind of rerouted that ship there to get it.
Yeah, kind of.
So, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that there's like top secret files that this company has had for hundreds of years about these creatures' existence.
Well, I mean, at the end of this movie, it's not actually clear whether or not any human makes it back to civilization.
That's true, because she is abandoned on the ice.
Yeah, because typical to these kind of movies, right? There are as many people in the cast as possible to get killed.
Yeah.
Right. Whole
No.
drilling team, every character that we've been introduced to, including Wayland, who didn't have to die, but decided to try to torture Predator
Yeah.
and then was killed.
Well, they made him have cancer, like really, really bad lung cancer anyways, so that like he's going to die no matter what. And then the Predator was like, oh, you got a bunch of cancer in you. I'm not going to kill you. And then he set the Predator on fire with his oxygen tank and a flare. And then the Predator was like, well, now I'm going to kill you.
Which was really, it didn't affect him.
No, he was like, I'm on fire a little bit. That's a minor inconvenience. Now you're dead. But yeah, so like, well, let's get back into the plot a little bit.
What plot?
Let's get back into the things that happen on the screen a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like the pyramid's changing, everyone gets separated, a bunch of people die, they don't matter. The predators like chasing them to try and get the guns back. That's the reason that they're like trying to kill the humans, because the humans took the guns and they need the guns.
Yeah, the guns set off the events that then well, I think it's even before they get there, before they go down, there's a shot of the alien queen being taken out of ice. She's frozen and she's woken up with electricity and starts making eggs in preparation.
Yeah. And then this, once they take the guns and the eggs show up in the sacrificial chamber,
which of course people have been locked in.
Yeah, people have been locked in there, and then aliens spawn, but the aliens can get out for whatever reason. I guess there's a tube, like a tunnel in the ceiling that we kind of see at one point.
Yeah.
There's some cool, actually, one of the things I do like about this movie, there's some cool scene transitions.
That's true.
Where you go from like the predators are looking at the hologram of the pyramid, and it like zooms all the way in, and you can see like the yellow, the heat signature outlines of people walking in, and then it like transitions, like fades into the actual scene as they're walking in, like kind of a couple of scenes like that. Nice, that was pretty cool. So the predator is chasing them. Where was I going with that? We went on another tangent.
We were going to start talking about the quote-unquote plot.
The quote-unquote plot.
Take guns out, doors come down, eggs come up, aliens get faces, pyramid changes every 10 minutes.
Waylon dies. Yeah.
That's the whole movie.
It is kind of the whole movie. Oh, I remember where we were going. So they, Pepsi and Lex get locked in a room where the exposition is. It's just written on the walls, everything that you need to know.
Oh, yeah.
About the history of the movie. I remembered it. I brought it back. Full circle. This is where I wanted to go.
Awesome.
So they crawl into this room, and they're watching a predator who's just killed an alien. The last predator that's alive, because like the first two predators go out real easy.
Yeah, it seems like they really needed those guns, some of them.
Yeah.
But without them.
One of them just straight up gets killed right away. But it leads to that iconic shot of the alien and the predator facing each other, and you can like see the alien's like little mouth going like. It was in all the trailers, and everyone got so stoked as soon as you saw that. It was like the first time you saw them both on screen at the same time. Super cool. So they're in the room, and the guy's like translating the text to be like kind of give like the backstory of what's going on. And this is the part of the movie that I actually think is like really well done and like really well developed. And I'm kind of like, okay, I can buy that. So like the idea is like the predators came to Earth because they needed like a backwater planet that was really not developed, and they like taught humans how to build, and so then the humans are like, we're going to worship these things, like they're gods basically to these primitive civilizations. And that kind of all comes from this book called Chariot of the Gods by Eric von Daniken, which was a huge book in the 70s, I want to say, where he basically looked at all the different features of like architecture and from all these different civilizations, and like why they built pyramids similarly and stuff like that, and decided that like, well, aliens must have helped them.
Oh yeah.
And that was his thing. So like I read this book as like a 13-year-old because of this movie. Which is weird that like any movie could make a 13-year-old kid read a book called Chariot of the Gods from the 70s.
That is a strange
written
thought.
by like an alien conspiracy theorist guy. But I read it. I got it at like a garage sale somewhere. I was like, holy crap, this book. And my mom was like, what? I'm like, it's the book inspired Alien versus Predator. She's like, ugh. Really? You're going to buy that? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy that. She's like, spend your quarter on something else. There's better things to invest that 25 cents in. I'm like, hell no, Ma. This book. Gonna read it. And I read it.
13-year-old Aaron.
Yeah.
Hell no, Ma.
Hell no, Ma. Reading the book about aliens. And I did. And it's basically, yeah, the guy's like, yeah, so aliens must have come to like ancient Earth and taught us how to build pyramids, and that's why all of our pyramids look the same, even though like they kind of don't, but they kind of do. But also you could
there are similarities, but they are different.
like Egyptian pyramids and Aztec pyramids, very different. You could pretty much chalk up the reason that like Mayan pyramids and Aztec pyramids look the same because, like, you know, physical proximity to each other. Maybe one guy walked over to where the Aztecs were and was like, "Hey, those are cool." And then because you don't have photographs back then, he like came back and tried to build one himself and it didn't quite look the same. But no, must have been aliens.
Of course.
So then basically this thing is like a hunting ritual where like every 100 years the young predators, they didn't really establish that they were like young. I mean, maybe they did. I can't remember. Did they establish that he's like a young predator? This is like a
No.
rite of passage kind of thing? Okay.
They didn't. I don't think they said a rite of passage. I think it's like they hunt the greatest prey.
Yeah, which is aliens.
To establish that they are worthy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember them saying worthy of something. Just worthy.
It's basically it's basically
species?
a manhood ritual is basically what it is. Because I also, when I was like 12, watched like the behind the scenes things that they released in advance of the movie. There's like 2 or 3 different like behind the scenes things with the director Paul W.S. Anderson, who also directed the Resident Evil movies. It's kind of what he's most famous for, and Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal Kombat.
I think Mortal Kombat might have been his first movie.
Well,
but
I should watch that one.
Mortal Kombat's so good. The second one is so bad.
Oh yeah.
So he was telling about how he was influenced by Eric Von Daniken, and he also goes into the manhood ritual bit where it's like they come to hunt every 100 years because I guess their lifespan is much longer than ours. So like you turn 100 and it's like, all right, time to
Be a man.
be a man. It's like their bar mitzvah. It's like a really fucked up alien bar mitzvah where you got to show up and murder a bunch of people and then hunt their evil spawn.
We'll just chalk that up at culture shock, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a different culture that we don't understand fully.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the deal is. These would be like young, inexperienced predators, I guess.
Which, yeah, you can kind of get that in the ritualistic nature of it, and I mean you can kind of get that in the fact that 2 of them are laid out right away.
Right away.
But they don't really explain it now.
No. The one cool thing I did like about this movie though is like the upgraded like predator arsenal and armor and like the different mask designs that they did. Like there's one that's like very different that I think is referred to as the Celtic predator, which is the one with the like the circular kind of shapes on the side of his mask. It's not just like the flat. There's like the traditional predator, which is like the main one that ends up teaming up with the humans at the end. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Then there's another predator was like a little bit had like rivets kind of in the side of the mask. And this was like the first time that they ever did like multiple predators in the same. Well, technically no, because Predator 2 had more predators at the end, but like multiple predators in the same movie, and each of them has like a unique mask design. Mm-hmm. They did it again in Predators, which is the one that came out like 6 or 7 years ago now, with Adrian Brody.
Oh, I'm not sure I saw that one, actually.
Have you not seen Predators?
I don't think I have.
Holy shit, dude. See Predators. It's so good.
Sweet.
Hardly anyone talks about that movie anymore. I don't know why it fell off the radar. Like, I know it did really well at the box office, but it is such a dope movie. I love it so much. I just watched it on the plane. I had it on my iPad, and I watched it again on the plane back from Florida a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
It was so awesome. I love that movie. Anyways, so they have cool mask designs in that one as well. But this was like the first time that we saw new Predator mask and armor designs, so I like that a lot. And then the like new weapons, like they made like the arm blades like super long and added like new like under the arm like sword kind of like singular blades.
Yeah, and at one point, like because the blade is slightly curved at the end, so it's kind of wrapped around like a claw. And at one point, he changes the direction, like they bend the other way.
Yes,
because he's lying down and something is to the right of him, and the blade's on his right arm, and the blades change the other way, and then he slices out.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
That was cool.
So he's got like the dual blades and then like the underarm sword kind of things. They made the guns bigger.
And again, varied. Like they weren't all the same.
They weren't all the same. They added like the shuriken things.
Yeah,
which were like
boomerang shurikens.
Yeah, so they had like 4 or 5 different like claws that kind of extended out from this disc. It's kind of like a play on the Predator throwing disc from Predator 2. Changed up the spear designs a little bit. They added the noose.
Oh yeah.
And now he can launch his wrist blades.
Oh yeah, they can shoot
I
out.
don't know. I can't remember if that happened in Predator 2 or anything like that. But yeah, he like shoots them at the Queen at the end. So I like all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, it was fun
like,
to watch.
That stuff's all cool.
Kind of why you watch that movie. Is
Definitely.
to see all that awesome stuff.
The dumb part of the movie though happens when they get out of that room. Because they know there's a predator on the other side of the door, because they watched him do his like marking of himself with the acid blood from the alien that he killed. And so they're like, as soon as that door opens, we're going to die. And she's like, no, because we're going to give him his gun back. And because they're like, the pyramid is like a prison, and we took the guards' guns, and now the prisoners are running free. But if we give the guards their guns back, then they can get back control of the prison.
Yeah.
And Pepsi is like, that's a stupid idea. We shouldn't do that. And she's like, well, I'm doing it. And he's like, fine, I guess. There's nothing else that we can do. But then they don't know. Also, they don't know that the Predator had an alien facehugger jump on him.
Yeah, he takes his mask off to do the marking on his helmet, and then does it on his face as well.
Yeah.
And then Facehugger jumps at him, and then it cuts away.
Yeah.
The next time we cut to him, he's putting his mask back on.
Yeah. And they also like walk away from the window like right before that happens, so they don't see it happen either. Then another door opens. So that door doesn't open, and Pepsi gets taken away by aliens, and she's all alone in the pyramid. And then the Predator shows up, and an alien. She gives him the gun back.
Yeah, slides
the aliens show up. She manages to kill one with his spear.
Yeah, she holds it up and it jumps onto him, kind of like. I was about to make a Lion, the Witch in the Wardrobe reference. Actually, that's kind of weird.
Weird. Alien jumps at her and she spears it and kills it, and then he's like, cool, thanks, takes his spear and like starts to leave, and she's like, no, wait, I gotta come with you. And he's like, please. I got time for that. And then he's like, well, I guess she did kill a thing, so
Yeah.
Makes her a spear and a shield out of an alien head and tail.
Yeah. And he takes a piece of the alien finger and like drips the blood on the exoskeleton of the head that he's cut off.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't melt. And then he puts it on the ground and it does melt, to be like, see? Not melty. Melty. Stupid human. Understand?
She's like, oh.
Like she's picking it
okay.
out. Oh, yeah, human.
So
But you gotta think, like, the inside of the exoskeleton, shouldn't that be covered in the alien blood?
should be just covered in acid.
But she just puts her hand right in it and she's like, sweet shield. Which she never uses. Right? Like, that never comes up.
Like, as soon as possible, she ditches it. She uses the spear at one point to stab the alien queen that escaped.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, then they team up.
Yeah, it was... it seemed real dumb.
Yeah. That's the part of the movie where I'm like, okay, this sucks now. It sucks that they're friends. They shouldn't be friends.
Yeah,
he should either just leave her there to die or murder her. And it would kind of be cool if it, like, the third act of the Alien versus Predator movie was all the humans are dead. And it's just like following this predator around, and he's like desperately trying to kill all the aliens before they reach the surface.
Yeah, you can like you can tell why they did that. Like she needed to survive.
Yeah.
Like for our sake, I guess, right? Because she's our main character and she's our link to the movie, kind of. But we don't watch it for her. I feel like
No,
it would have made a
and-
lot more sense if the Predator was like, "Oh, you helped kill this alien. That means I don't kill you. That's it."
Yeah.
And then ditches
We're,
her there.
we're done.
Like that would make so much sense to me. But instead, like, yeah, arms her and they
Yeah, it's
run
like-
off together, and it's like, what is
Because
this
she
crap?
needs him. He does not need her.
Not at all.
He's like, I
He's
get.
got his shoulder cannon.
Yeah. He's got a nuclear bomb on his wrist.
That too.
That they used to blow up the pyramid, and like for whatever reason, the sled that they used to get down is like a rocket sled.
Yeah, they've lowered themselves down on cables, and they have this sled, and when they use it to get back up that massive hole that was shot 2,000 feet down into the ice,
Yeah,
or I guess more because it was at a 30-degree angle, it goes up real damn fast.
like so fast. It's outrunning
Faster
a
than
nuclear
the
explosion.
Yeah, what the heck?
And like launches them out of the shaft like incredibly fast. So like that wouldn't have been a good idea to use that.
Nope.
Like I know that she presses a button called like emergency release or whatever,
Yeah.
but why would you ever have it go that fast unless like you need to outrun a nuclear explosion? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Probably the same reason they had guns.
Yeah. Sure, because it needed to happen. That's
Yep.
kind of why everything happens in this movie is because you need it to.
Yep.
Yeah. So then they fight the alien queen on the surface, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, because the alien queen didn't die in the massive explosion and somehow made its way up.
Oh, it
2,000
escaped
feet.
first. You see her like looking up the shaft because there's like goop on the thing.
Oh, that's right.
Alien queen makes it out first. Yeah.
And the rest of the aliens stayed behind to try to kill
Yeah.
the Predator.
And you know what I found kind of weird? That the grid alien that got like marked by the net.
Yeah, that's right.
We didn't talk about this yet, but there's
So the first Predator eats it like right away because he gets the
Mhm.
tail through the chest. But then
and the tongue through the eyes.
oh yeah, that's the finishing move.
Yeah.
But then the next Predator like holds his own for a little bit against one of the aliens.
It's a pretty awesome fight. It's probably the best scene in the movie actually, is that fight scene.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And like he gets tossed around a bunch. It's pretty tough. They're struggling for a while. And then at one point the Predator and the alien gets away from the Predator and then tries to sneak up on it, but he turns and shoots a net. And we see it earlier in the movie. It's a net that slowly winds itself up and is made of some kind of really intense, unbreakable metal or something like that.
Oh yeah. And actually that reminded me the guy that plays Stamper, I can't remember his name, the black guy, is also in the first Resident Evil, playing like the exact same character.
Right, and he
gets
cut up by a grid of lasers.
by a grid of lasers, gets cubed, and it's the same director
What?
and the same actor. So this dude has a thing for like grids and cutting this poor man into cubes because he gets trapped under the net, and the net starts to like constrict, like it starts like winding up and into it's got like tent spikes that kind of like suck the net super super tight. So he's like getting the grid like cut into his forehead, and then the Predator eventually just like stabs him, puts him out of his misery. But the same thing happens then with the alien, except the alien acid blood melts through the net. But so then you're left with this alien that has like a grid on its head,
Yeah.
and that's like the hero alien kind of thing.
He's distinguished among
Yeah.
aliens.
Yeah, but that alien never gets like a satisfying like death.
He barely returns to the film. Like
He's
we
like
see him with
standing
all of
there,
the other aliens.
screaming at them as they get on the rocket sled and jump up, and then he just gets like killed in the explosion. Wouldn't it have been way better if he was the one that she shot in the face with the bolt gun?
Yeah, that would have been.
That would have been way better, right?
If it's like, oh, this one from before, I remember.
Yeah.
Like we know it's this same alien.
Arch nemesis.
Yeah.
Arch nemesis. That's the one. I
You nailed it.
was trying to make it plural. It's a hard word to say.
I'm just not gonna try.
Do it. Try.
No, I don't want
Just do it. Just try a little
to.
bit.
I don't even want to.
Okay. Yeah. It would have been way better.
Yeah, that was that seemed really strange. I thought about that too when that alien, the one we're talking about, is fighting that predator.
Grid.
And
Call him Grid Face.
okay, when Gridface is fighting the second predator, he like gets a scratch mark across his mask, and I'm like, oh, cool. Now that one is marked, and I'll be able to more easily distinguish him from the other ones.
Even though he had the most different mask.
Well, yeah, but still, that was my thought. And then he immediately dies, and I was like, oh, never mind. But then I'm like, oh, but Gridface has a grid face now. I'll be able to distinguish him. And then we see him in 2 other scenes, and he's always just with other aliens doing what the other aliens are doing. And then
you kind of get that he's like maybe like a leader alien sort of.
I didn't get that at all. You just
really? Because there's the scene that I think is like when he's they're in the hallway and like the predator just got his gun back and he's like shooting a bunch of aliens. Gridface is just kind of hanging back like screaming, and then the other aliens are like going forward and he's like, Wah! And then
again I feel like he's just doing what most of the other aliens are doing anyway.
Yeah, but there's like
screaming and slithering.
There's
around.
like one shot where it's like kind of like a slow push in on him, and he's like watching everyone else die, and then you hear the queen screaming, and he's like, "Oh, my queen needs me," and then he leaves, and I'm kind of like, "Oh, he's like the leader."
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I felt like that's what they were trying to set up, but maybe not. And then he's the one that kind of like leads the charge on the. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they just like, we need an alien that we can identify as that one alien that you recognize, and it's Gridface. So Gridface has a grid face. So yeah, that's basically Alien versus Predator, I think. The very end, the Predator ship. Oh, we should talk about the very end. Actually, the Predators take her. Or don't take her. They show up. He like gives her a spear because he sees the mark, like weird like T thing on her cheek. Because the predator marked her with a.
Yeah, well, I feel we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here. Let's they fight the queen
right
on the top, but they have to fight together to beat her, and she still has some chains because she was all manacled.
Yeah. There's one chain around her neck that
they attached to like
a
water tower.
They didn't acid melt it off. She just kind of yanked it off, and it was like following her behind as she was escaping the pyramid.
Mm-hmm. And they attach it to this water tower thing or whatever.
Yeah, which. Side note, why would you have like a big water tower in Antarctica? It would probably freeze,
that
right?
Wouldn't make any sense.
Doesn't.
Maybe it was
full of flaws.
Or something else. I don't know. Some big, huge metal cylinder.
It's for oil,
and it's falling over the cliff because the big explosion underground has caused a lot of.
Oh yeah, that's like kind of like breaking. The ice is starting to like break up and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And so they both pull the chain together and they wrap it around. And it's going to start going down. And she's like, "Awesome, we got it!" But then it stops falling because it's like stuck on something. And then the predator looks at her like, "The fuck was that?" And then gets the tail. Through the back of him. Classic. But he doesn't quite die yet. And then she goes and finds a shovel somewhere and unpries the thing. And
water tower falls in, drags the queen down to the bottom of the ocean where, like, maybe she's dead, but maybe not, because we don't even know if they breathe. She might just be down there forever.
Just frozen. That's how she was before the movie started.
Sequel. No, we'll get to the real sequel in a second.
Right.
But then, the predators show up and, like, take the body of their dead comrade. And then there's, like, a really old predator with, like, blue eyebrows who sees her. Then she has, like, the mark, because the predator, like, marked her cheek with acid. The same mark that he had, because she's like, now you've killed aliens. You're a true hunter. Uh-huh. And the old predator's like, oh, cool, you have that mark. Here, take this spear. There you go. That's yours.
And super cool gift.
Yeah, really cool.
Retractable spear.
Nice talking point to have, like, in your apartment, just, like, on your mantle or something. Really cool. Like, that's my alien spear that was given to me by an alien. It follows in the tradition of the Predator at the end of Predator 2 gives Danny Glover. Yeah, Danny Glover, not Donald Glover.
That's correct.
Danny gives Murtaugh a flintlock pistol from like a pirate that he killed. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get like, whoa, they're super old. He killed a pirate. And there was going to be a pirate Predator movie at some point where it was like a Predator killing pirate. That was going to be Predator 3 for a while.
Wow.
Like a Predator hunting a bunch of pirates on a pirate ship. They never went through with it.
Shoot.
I don't know why. Just do it. What you made worse movies.
You made this one.
You made this one. You made the sequel to this one, which is infinitely worse. Like, what do you have to lose? This is what I don't understand. Like, why did it take so long in between sequels constantly for the Alien movies are really spread out. It's like 79, 86, 92, 97.
Oh yeah.
And then Prometheus and Alien Covenant 2012, 2017.
It's very spread out.
And Predator 2 and Predators 1991, 2010. Or maybe 1990. Maybe it was, yeah.
But yeah, that's spread
It
out.
was 20 years, I think. So, like, why can't you just rush a pirate Predator movie into production? Like, you can't be that concerned with the quality.
Well, clearly, they're not.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my point. Or, like, why are they, like, there's clearly someone's like, Predators, pirates, might not be good. Like, who cares? You tried so hard and you just keep making crap. Except Predators. Predators is probably my favorite Predator movie. Blasphemy, I know. I know. But it's so awesome. This movie, not as awesome, but this definitely won't be the last time I watch it. I'll probably watch it again at some point in my life.
Well, fair.
Yeah, so they just abandoned her on the ice.
Yeah.
I assume that the scene immediately following this is like
Her freezing to death?
maybe because she does take off her jacket and she's kind of wearing like a light sweater in Antarctica
yeah.
in October. But like it's her like she gets into one of the trucks and like gets back to the boat, and I assume there's like a captain and maybe like a vice captain, first mate.
There it is.
Yeah.
Vice
captain. I don't know. I haven't been on a ship.
First assistant to the captain.
Yeah, assistant to the captain. And she just like shows up, and they're like, "Where's everyone else?" She's like, "It's just long story. We gotta go." But everyone else, like, they're all dead.
But even then, like, we just don't know. That
And then
she
there's a
ever got
sequel.
off Antarctica.
And then there's a sequel movie where the captain and the first mate are convinced that she murdered everyone and left them there, and they're like terrified. It's like a nice dark comedy horror movie where like they get into these wacky situations where she does things that seem kind of murdery to them, but
only because they have that in their
but
mind.
only because they have it in their mind, and really nothing is weird except for the fact that there's a nuclear explosion on the island caused by aliens trying to kill other aliens. That, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything's
Totally normal.
yeah, peachy.
Yeah.
But then on the alien ship, or the Predator ship, sorry, you see like Predator like laying on a table, like a funeral thing.
Table.
Altar. Not really an altar.
Like a...
It's like a viewing, I guess. He's laying there, super dead.
Very dead.
Right in front of this huge viewing window. You can see they're leaving Earth. Well, kind of like they're still in orbit. And then, boom, alien pops out of his chest.
Remember the facehugger from when he had his mask off.
It all comes back around. They're tying up all the loose ends.
And then this little alien has the predator mouth tying things with skin attached to them.
You can't see it, but I just did the thing with my fingers. I made the predator mouth.
I can attest that it looked like a predator, yeah.
Yeah, and that sets up the sequel, where the Pred alien actually plays a huge part in the sequel. Where it's real bad. The sequel to this movie. It looks like it was made for about $10, Like it's almost like a made for TV movie is kind of what it feels like.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
We'll
apt description.
the next time an Alien or Predator movie comes out, we will talk about that one.
Yes.
And because it is just horrendous. It's so bad. But yeah, then they teased the Pred Alien. I remember as a kid being like, that is the coolest thing ever. Because it was either the game. I think in the game there was a Pred Alien
Oh, really?
thing in one of the Alien vs. Predator 2, I think.
Hmm.
Maybe the expansion pack for 2. There was like a Pred Alien. Could possibly have been one of the comic books. I can't quite remember. But yeah, there was the Alien Predator hybrid.
Dope.
And so that was like super cool thing. Everyone's super jacked up for the sequel. Takes a long time. I remember like not even knowing that there was a sequel happening until like 2 weeks before the sequel came out. And like I saw something somewhere about like Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I'm like, what the heck? I may have just randomly Googled Alien vs. Predator because I did that when I was a teenager.
Just every once in a while.
Just every once in a while, just, Googling stuff because I'm like, I want to see some clips from Alien vs. Predator or watch the trailer or just look at some pictures of aliens and predators fighting each other. And it's like Alien vs. Predator Requiem. And the website was avpr.com. And I'm pretty sure that they registered that domain name way before they titled the movie because they wanted it to be AVPR so that they could emphasize like it's going to be a rated R movie because everyone was so pissed off that this movie was PG-13.
Right. That's the one thing that I have written down that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah. For whatever reason, they decided, let's make it a PG-13 Alien movie, Alien and Predator movie. Every movie in both franchises up to this point has been an R-rated movie.
And for good reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
the chest
nightmare-inducing stuff as far as I'm concerned for children.
Definitely. I mean, like, but there's so many things where it's like every time something happens, they cut away. And actually, the best part, did you notice when it said like PG-13 what it was rated PG-13 for?
It was a bunch of stuff. It was
like
violence,
brief language, slime, and gore.
Slime and gore, right? Yeah.
Slime. There's too much slime in this movie. And I guess that just means like the alien blood.
Yeah, and then like sometimes it's stuck to the stuff, like the floor
Yeah.
or some guns after someone's been killed, some goop on it.
Yeah. One of the things actually I really liked about this movie is there's hardly any CGI aliens.
Yeah,
Like when they're jumping and like crawling on the walls and stuff, they're CGI, and like the queen at the end, obviously, mostly CGI. But for the most part, they have like animatronic robot aliens or guys in suits, and like all the predators are guys in suits. A lot of practical effects, real like puppets and suit costume
and
work,
especially for the time, it made it look real good.
it looks, yeah, it's still. I think the movie looks still really good. I'm a little bit concerned about the amount of light that is getting into that pyramid. 2,000
yeah.
feet. That's a...
Wait, what?
Yeah, when you think about it, this is a really, really well-lit pyramid 2,000 feet below the surface of a continent that's uninhabited.
Yep.
Yeah. At night.
At night, yeah. Under a hunter's moon.
Yeah. So it's a big moon. Maybe that's it. I mean, I know that they did set up like a couple of lamps outside the pyramid.
Yeah,
I don't think
right when they got down there, they set up a bunch of lights.
Because when they get down there, it's dark. Like she's busting open flares and shooting flares, and they all got flashlights, and they're wandering through the pyramid, and it's dark. But then as soon as everything starts changing, and they like lose all their flashlights, it's like really well lit.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No.
All the predators have heat vision.
Yeah, they don't need light.
Flaw.
Super, super bad. All right. Well, you want to guess Rotten Tomatoes? I think we're done now, right?
Yeah, I am done talking about this movie.
Great. Rotten Tomatoes, go for it. What do you think?
All right. Well, it did well at the box office.
Pretty big box office hit.
Yeah. Was it like 78 Rotten Tomatoes?
78?
Or 68?
No, 21.
21. Oh,
21. This movie was hated.
Gosh. Oh, wow.
Yeah. We'll see what the fan response
That's worse
was,
than
though.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I think it is. The audience score is 39%. So,
Sheesh.
yeah. Gore without scares and cardboard cutout characters make this clash of monsters a dull sit. That's a bit harsh. Probably Paul Anderson's best movie. Because none of the Resident Evil movies are that good.
No.
And even Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
It's fun.
It's great. I like Mortal Kombat a lot, actually. Well, now we need to give it our ratings. We got a new rating system on the show. New rating system. We're gonna with three levels. So good, bad, and so bad it's good. So if it's good, we're gonna give it a Breakfast Club Don't You Forget About Me fist bump. And we're gonna play this clip. If it's bad, we're gonna say it's one big pile of shit, and we're gonna play this Jeff Goldblum clip.
That is one big pile of shit.
And if it's so bad it's good, we're going to say it's Craptacular. And we're going to play this Bart Simpson clip.
It's Craptacular.
Perfect.
One of those took us way too long to come up with, and we're not going to tell you which one it was.
Nope.
Do you want to go first?
Well, I've been trying to think how I feel about it, because it's not that bad. It's not that bad to me. And, I mean, like, the level of being so bad that it's good, like Flash Gordon level of so bad that it's good,
Right.
is kind of what I fit that category into. And then this movie isn't so bad that it's good, and it's not that bad. It's just kind of a movie.
Well, we got a 3-level rating system here, so
Yeah.
unless you can come up with some more movie quotes on the spot, we got to fit it in somewhere.
All right. Well,
I'll tell you what. You could give it like a high or low rating too. Like,
Okay, I
so
think-
like
I'll
it's a
give it-
low big pile of shit or something like that, or So it's like it's not really that bad, but it's still bad. Like that kind of thing.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah, it's a bit of Jeff Goldblum's famous line. Right?
That is one big pile of shit.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say I love this movie. like 75% of this movie I think is really, really fun and dumb. So I'm gonna say it's Craptacular.
It's Craptacular.
Cool.
I love it. Definitely. I think it'd be a fun watch with a lot of friends, especially if you're all kind of, familiar with the other movies and the franchises. I think it's fun. So, yeah. Say thumbs up. Cool. Well, that just about does it for us here on the show. You can find us on Twitter at RetroCrapPod. You can follow us on Patreon. If you want to support the show, toss us a couple bucks. You get the episodes early. We're going to be releasing some Patreon exclusive content at some point. Not on the schedule yet, but like movie commentaries or unreleased episodes, that sort of thing. TBD, but it's coming. You can also subscribe on iTunes, give us a rating, review. That really helps us out a lot. On YouTube, at the Retro Craptacular. And I think that's it. Yeah, so for next month, we have had a movie request on Twitter. Nick, I believe, is at 31 Film Talk. Just double checking that that's his handle. Has suggested that we watch a movie called Chopping Mall, which
Neither of us had actually heard of, right?
I had heard of
you
it.
had heard of it.
I've
Okay.
heard of it. It's a Jim Wynorski film. He's like a famous bad movie director. Did a lot of work for Roger Corman, but it's fun movie about some people getting killed by some robot security guards in a mall.
Classic.
Glorious 80s fashion. So we're going to be watching that next month. And that comes from Nick at 31 Film Talk on Twitter. So go show him some love on Twitter if you're listening to this and see what he's all about. And we'll get back to you next month with our review of Chopping Mall.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So until next time, enjoy Alien vs. Predator and go see Alien Covenant. Let us know what you think about that. And keep watching crap.
Keep watching crap.
Bye.